My mother gave me one of these advent calendars for Christmas, and this one isn't mine. This is actually my father's, but I've actually taken quite a few of the lures from the one that she gave me, and I'm going to combine them with this kit right here, and I'm going to make a survival kit. Now, you'll get to see me open all of the items in this kit, and we'll get to talk about what's useful and what's not. A lot of these lures as well in this, they were kind of just filler lures, but you really do get quite a few nice ones as well. Now, this is a complete look at what's in the fishing calendar, and these are the ones that I chose to put into my survival kit. A lot of boxes here. Now, that being said, not everything here is great when you open it. And I do want to say that it is a good way to encourage children to get into survival, but you can build a better survival kit than this. So box number one in the kit is a very decent ferro rod. And honestly, I've carried one like this before, so this is really a plus. This is like a $7 to $12 ferro rod, and that's really nice. Box number two, jute cord dipped in wax, and I actually show how to make this on my channel, so be sure that you guys subscribe and go check out my playlist. I travel to multiple countries helping homeless children and children with cancer, also while teaching history, and this is honestly one of my favorite fire starters, and it replaces a lot of things in your bag when you make a complete jute cord rope. So number three is a handheld chainsaw, and these are kind of gimmicky in a way, but you can actually use these to cut some small padlocks in half. So honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world, and you can honestly cut some wood with it if you have to, but I would not want to rely on this to be my only source of firewood cutting if I was lost in the woods. So I will say this is keepable, but there's a lot better items out there, and in fact, I carry a Bowie knife, and I prefer that even over a hatchet or an axe. So yeah, we will keep this, but there's foldable saws out there that do a much better job. Bowie knife does a better job, and axes and hatchets, they do a better job. So this is item number four, and this is the first item that I really have a problem with. This is not for woodland survival. This would be more something that you would carry in your wallet, something like that, more of a multi-tool, and it's very gimmicky. And honestly, I've been given one of these as a gift before. I never used it. It's sitting on a shelf somewhere, and I have no clue where it is. Number five. Now, these are actually a set of screwdrivers that can clip to your car keys. That's kind of nice. But if you already carry a multi-tool, and almost every survivalist and everybody that has an EDC carry, they already have a multi-tool. So, not really a great thing, but sure, you could add it. I don't know, we'll give it a 2 out of 10. So number six is a massive fishing lure. And now, like I said, this isn't something that you could really carry in your pocket, but what you could do is make a survival kit for your car, and you could keep that in your car. For me, this is just a little bit overkill. Now, is that a good lure? Yeah, this is honestly something perfect for a tackle box, but not so much for survival. So number seven is another fishing lure, and honestly, this one's too big for survival as well, so we'll add it with the others in the fishing kit. So number eight is actually two small fishing lures and some sinkers. Now, while you could take the fishing lures out and use them, I would not use the sinkers, and the reason being, sinkers are just extra weight, and you can honestly make a sinker out of stuff in the woods like rocks, so it's just extra weight that you're carrying for nothing. Number nine, it is not by any means a survival blade. For a kid, it might be kind of a cool knife, but honestly, a lot of the things on this are gimmicky. A lot of these punches on these knives, they won't really knock a window out, but they say they will. And it's extremely hard to cut a seatbelt. This razor honestly will not cut through a seatbelt, even though they say that it will. You would actually have a better time doing it like that than trying to use that razor. The handle's very weak on this, and honestly, I wouldn't want to put any kind of pressure on it because it would probably break in your hand and then injure you. So definitely not a survival blade, just a cheap little blade for you to play around with. And honestly, you couldn't even strike the ferro rod on the back of it without having a fear of closing this on your hand. So yeah, I'm going to remove that and not use it. Probably just throw that away, actually. Number 10. This is a very gimmicky item in the survival world. This is a silicone cup, and honestly, I'm just going to end up throwing this away. This is not useful at all, and honestly, you should already have a steel cup or a canteen. You shouldn't even worry about having something like that. It's completely irrelevant. Number 11, a multi-tool spoon and fork. And honestly, in real survival, you would never use something like this. For a kid, it might be kind of a cool thing, but this is very weak metal, and truthfully, you're going to break it if you try to use it on anything other than eating. And then when I see like the serrated edges here, only an idiot would want to put something like that in their mouth and then pull back out and cut themselves. So yeah, absolutely not. This gets a 0, and honestly, I'm going to throw that away as well, because somebody will end up getting hurt on that, because some stupid person will see that and be like, I'll take that. It's better just to save the slow people. So number 12 is paracord. And now, I'm not a huge fan of paracord. I feel like there's a lot of fanboys of it that think it's like this magic survival thing, but there's actually better options than paracord out there. But now, to be fair, if this is true 550 cord, you can make shelters out of it. You can tie down items with it to your bag, and you can use it for makeshift handles for broken knives and things like that, and even first aid. But there is better rope out there. This becomes slick when it's rainy. It also, when you're making traps, has a tendency to slide around on triggers. And I've seen a lot of people say that they would prefer bank line as to paracord. I pretty much agree with that. I also use 80-pound test fishing line to replace a lot of my paracord, because honestly, I can carry a whole lot more of it. And if I need the extra strength, all I really have to do is weave the fishing line together. So yeah, not a huge fan of this, but it does have its purpose. Number 13. Now, this is not a climbing carabiner, so it's kind of useless, honestly. You can attach things to your bag with it, but honestly, for me, I would just throw it away. 14. Now, while it is a great learning tool, it's kind of useless to put this in its own box, and honestly, I feel like they duped you on this, and truthfully, it doesn't deserve its own box. This is something that should actually sit on top of the boxes rather than pretending like it's this great thing that you're going to get. So 15 is a compass. Now, if this compass works, great, keep it. But most small compasses in these little kits, they never work. Now, a compass is a great thing. It's a great tool to have, but usually in these small kits, they don't even work. So we'll keep it if it works, but if not, we'll toss it. So number 16 is also a bit of a disappointment. Now, it does have a lot of useful information on this card, so I will keep the cards, so this way, if I'm ever with somebody that doesn't know how to do these already, they can understand how to make a sundial, things like that. But it's very disappointing that they give this its own box. Number 17. This is a tactical pin. Honestly, these are garbage completely. A lot of people try to sell them as a combat pin. If I have a knife, if I have a gun, and you pull this on me, I'm going to kill you. Fight's done. Now, I used to help teach military and law enforcement hand-to-hand combat, and I'm telling you, these are useless. I will actually probably put this on a desk somewhere just to write with, because other than that, it has no real purpose. And honestly, this has nothing to do with outdoor survival. I don't know why you would put this in a kit for survival to begin with. So number 18 is actually pretty useful. Mosquito netting is not only good to keep mosquitoes off of you, but you can also use this to break up your shape, which means if you have to use this for camouflage, you can now hang a few things from this to help break up your shape in the woods, which allows you to blend in more correctly. Now, I don't know how strong this is actually going to be, but I do know that you could also use this for things such as trapping birds, things like this, if you had to. And there's quite a few uses that you could actually do with this, so we'll keep that. Number 19, a Mylar blanket. Now, let me say this to all of you out there. to stay warm, this really isn't the greatest thing in the world, even though that's what its intended purpose is. But there are a lot of things that you can do with this in survival to keep the rain off, things like that. But if you just wrap up in this, it's not going to do a lot for you. Now, that being said, you can cut this into strips so that way you can have cordage. You can lay this out and capture rainwater in it. You can use this for signaling if there's a plane or something in the distance. And honestly, there's even more than that. I can't remember everything. You can make like a solar still out of it for getting water out of salt water that's drinkable. And I may actually do videos showing something like that with this later, but I just want to tell you really, not for its intended purpose, but it honestly does have a lot of survival benefits at the end of the day. Number 20, a glow stick. And now, let me show you something. A glow stick can be a survival kit on its own. First off, it gives you light without giving off a heat source, which is very important if you're in a war zone. And honestly, you can use it to signal people, and I love to put fishing line around it. Now you can see that fishing line is clear. If I break this and shake it up, you'll still be able to see with this light. And where I've taped off the ends, it's not going to be as bright, which means people's going to have a harder time seeing it. Now mine is more of a red light in this one, so it doesn't go as far. This would actually be quite bright compared to this. So truthfully, I would take 80-pound test fishing line like I did with this one, go all the way around it, weave in a couple of fishing hooks just like I did there, and honestly just make a complete shelter kit out of this, because the fishing line will allow you to build shelter, and a fishing kit out of it, and also a fire kit. You can see on the end of that there, I actually have some cotton taped into it, and the tape itself is also a fire starter. So yeah, there is a lot that you can do with one of these glow sticks. 23, a signaling mirror. Now, there is a whistle on the end of this, but it's not very loud, and I kind of feel like this is filler, and the reason I say this is because I can already do the same thing with this. There's really not a big reason to add this. Now, so 21 is a much louder keychain whistle. And truthfully, for a child that would be lost in the woods, this would not be a bad thing to have. But honestly, it's not loud enough for you to really hear them for a long, long distance. If you want to say, yeah, this would be great for like 100 yards, something like that, that's possible. But truthfully, even something like this, if you're lost in the mountains, this can echo around and you wouldn't be able to find them exactly. As an adult, I carry a firearm, so I would just shoot into the air if I needed somebody to know my location. Is it good to teach kids, hey, if you're lost, have something like this to make noise? Yes. But it's also very limited, and you should also teach them, hey, once you're so far out, this can echo around, it would be very hard to find you. So 23 is just a little patch, and honestly, it's just kind of like an extra box. It's not really anything useful, so we'll just skip that. So 24 is a box to keep all of the items in. Now, as you can see, it's extremely hard to get open. If your fingers were cold, this would be very painful. So that's not the greatest box in the world. Also, it's not waterproof. It doesn't have a rubber lining, even though it does have this foam in it to make it more soundproof, which is great. This isn't the greatest box in the world. So honestly, I would probably toss this too if I wasn't going to make like a fishing box out of it or something like that. See, one of my personal survival kits, this is one of them here. It is completely waterproof once I latch this down, but this is a lot of fire making, tarp repair, multiple fishing kits right here, and this is a shelter and fire kit as well. This is 100 yards of 70-pound test fishing line, or I'm sorry, 120-pound test fishing line, and it will absolutely be enough to build your shelters with.